to the best place in all of outer space, Kids Planet! I'm Nova, and today we're going to discover the power of the word forgiveness. Did I confuse you? I'm sorry about that. Let's see. What I meant to say was that today we're going to learn all about forgiveness and why it matters. So fasten your seatbelts and hold on really tight. Our space rocket is about to take off. Let the countdown begin. 3, 2, 1. Here we go! Today's adventure will be super special because we'll learn about something so powerful that it can transform this planet into a better place. Let's dig in. Our friend Curious can help us get started. Curious, what is forgiveness? Forgiveness is something very important. It's so important that it's impossible to explain in just a few words. It would be like trying to put all the water in the ocean inside your favorite cup. You just can't do it. But we could start by saying, forgiveness is a way of showing love and understanding to others when they've made a mistake or they've hurt our feelings. I think that's the nicest and simplest way to put it. But today, we have to learn something that might seem a bit complicated. We need to learn and understand when we should ask for forgiveness and when we should forgive others. Because this works in two ways. For example, we might have said something or done something to someone that made them feel sad, mad, or even pain. We don't want them to feel that way, so we'll have to say sorry and ask him or her to forgive us for what we've done. Other times, people will ask us for forgiveness. When our friends or family have done something that affected us in a negative way or made us upset, they'll want us to forgive them. In either situation, it is always correct to forgive and ask for forgiveness. How about I give you an example? One day, my brother Neutron was playing a game on the family computer, and he accidentally deleted all the family pictures that were saved on the computer. All the pictures! Losing those pictures hurt us all. My dad had a serious conversation with Neutron for a long time. After that conversation, we all sat down together. My mom and I were very upset at Neutron for what he had done. My dad was more serious than ever, and then he said, "Family, Neutron made a mistake and wants to tell us something." Neutron took a deep breath, got up and told all of us that he was very sorry for what had happened. He explained that it was an accident and he knew exactly how important these pictures were to all of us, including to himself. And he wanted to apologize and ask for our forgiveness. When I realized that Neutron was feeling really, really bad about what happened, I realized the right thing to do was to forgive my brother. Forgiveness makes things better and allows us to make smart decisions. These situations happen to all of us someday. And the right thing to do is to take responsibility and ask for forgiveness. During the time that I was angry at Neutron for losing the family pictures, I couldn't feel anything but sadness. But when I forgave him, it was like my brother's words had cleared my vision, and almost immediately, I really felt much better. Forgiveness is a very important and valuable thing to practice in our lives. Now, we all probably have to ask for forgiveness from time to time at home. Where else might we have to ask for forgiveness sometimes? At school! My teacher, Mrs. Starr, says kids with good manners know how to apologize and how to forgive. But she always repeats something very important. She says sometimes just saying sorry is just not enough. You have to really mean it when you apologize. Mrs. Starr also says that when we decide to forgive someone, we also have to be sincere. It has to come from a very special place, our heart. Forgiving is not always easy. We have to prepare ourselves for it. and practice to get better and better. And our friend Curious has 3 planetary tools that will help us. Let's see, Curious, what do we have to do to forgive from the heart? Tool number 1, be considerate. My parents and I didn't think Neutron deleted the family pictures on purpose. Remember, people who love us don't do things to hurt us. That's why being considerate with those who ask us for forgiveness is very important. Tool number 2, let go of anger. After Neutron apologized, my dad, my mom, and I weren't angry at Neutron anymore. When we forgive, we're able to let go of the anger we feel. And that not only makes the other person feel better, it makes us feel better too. And now, tool number 3, truly forgive. True forgiveness is giving that person a second chance and moving on. If you use these tools, you can change bad experiences into new ones full of love and joy, because we become happier when we forgive. When we come back, we'll learn how to accept our mistakes and truly apologize when we're wrong. If my interplanetary calculations are correct, it's time for our first Nova quiz. Ready? Here it is. Which of these whales is the largest on the planet? A, the blue whale. B, the orca whale. C, the gray whale. D, the southern whale. Whoa, they all look huge. You have a few minutes to think about this one. We'll find out if your answer is correct when we come back to the best place in outer space. Kids Planet! We're back in the best place in outer space. Kids Planet! The time has come to find out the answer to our Nova quiz. Let's review our question. Which of these whales is the largest on the planet? A, the blue whale. B, the orca whale. C, the gray whale. D, the southern whale. If you answered the blue whale, you're right! Congratulations! These super whales take growth very seriously. They're between 80 and 88 feet long. They're almost as long as a basketball court. They're huge. The blue whale can weigh as much as a 747 airplane. Wow, that's pretty heavy. My brother Neutron read a book where it explained that scientists have shown that blue whales know the importance of family and friends. How do they know that? Because since birth, they live and travel together in small groups. They always travel with their whale family. My mom always tells me that families stay closer when they know how to forgive and forget. We learned about how to forgive someone else, but remember, the other part of forgiveness is learning how to ask for it when you make a mistake. The first step is to recognize when you did something wrong and take responsibility for it. It's never easy to recognize our mistakes. Which reminds me, I have a question for Curious. How can we recognize our mistakes? To learn how to recognize your mistakes, you need to start by calculating the consequences. No, put away that measuring tape. Consequences are not measured like that. Measuring consequences means to take responsibility for our actions. It's very important to understand that if you hurt someone physically or you hurt their feelings, it's your responsibility to ask for forgiveness. When I have ice cream, I'm very careful to not get dirty. My mom works really hard to make sure my clothes are clean and that I look nice. So when I get all messy and dirty, my mom gets sad because she feels that all her efforts are wasted. So I recognize my mistake and apologize to my mom and tell her that I know how hard she works to clean my clothes, and I promise to be more careful. The important thing is to recognize you made a mistake. My dad says that people who recognize their mistakes become truth heroes. We are truth heroes because only brave people recognize when they make a mistake. And truth heroes work to correct the mistakes they make. And you can do it too! Woohoo! This reminds me. Curious, how do we apologize when we've done something wrong? Look! Curious recommends a planet exercise! I love planet exercises. Find a mirror at home. Got it? Now imagine that you're speaking to another person. Practice these words when asking for forgiveness. Do it several times using different phrases, and remember to always do it from the heart. I apologize. Can you please forgive me? I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. How was it? Very good. This planet exercise is very easy to do, and it helps us to be prepared. It also teaches us how to take that first step when the time comes to apologize. There's something else that can be very helpful. Our imagination. Imagine that every time you ask for forgiveness, you get a forgiveness medal. We have to take care of that medal really well. That's why when we ask for forgiveness, we commit ourselves to not making the same mistake again. Because if we do, our imaginary medal will not be as valuable and it will disappear. Poof! Just like that! One time, I had to apologize to my family for accidentally dropping a plate of food from the table. They forgave me, and to show them that, I was really sorry for what I did. I hugged my dad and gave my mom a big kiss. I'm sure that made everyone feel better. Now, every time I sit down to eat with my family, I'm very careful. They forgave me, but now it's my responsibility to try really hard to not do it again. I don't want my imaginary medal to disappear. However, sometimes we make the same mistakes again. I'm going to tell you something that happened to my brother Neutron. He loves staying up late reading his favorite books or watching TV shows. Although he knows he shouldn't do it. Well, one day he couldn't get up for school. He was too tired. My parents had already warned him about staying up late. Since he was so tired, Neutron was late for school. He made us all leave home late. He was not ready on time, and when he got to school, he realized that he had forgotten some of his books. His teacher sent a note to our parents because he fell asleep in class. It was a disastrous day for Neutron, but he understood the mistake he made. He apologized to my parents and to his teacher. He got the imaginary medal of forgiveness, but he didn't understand what it meant to fix his mistake. He went to bed late again, and the same thing happened the next day. And then his imaginary medal disappeared. Poof! Neutron asked for forgiveness once again, but he knew he had to be responsible and make sure not to make the same mistake again. Now he only reads his books and watches TV in his spare time, and he goes to bed on time. Way to go, Neutron! This has been such a fun adventure. But this adventure is not over yet. When we come back, we'll learn how to forgive ourselves. That's the most important kind of forgiveness. We'll also learn about how we can learn from our own mistakes. But first, we need to answer our second NOVA quiz. Here it goes. Which of these is the heaviest land animal on Earth? A, the elephant, B, the rhinoceros, C, the giraffe, D, the hippopotamus. You have a few minutes to think. When we come back, we'll find out the answer here on Kids Planet. We're back! Our adventure adventure continues in the best place in outer space, Kids Planet! The time we've all been waiting for has arrived. The answer to our Nova quiz. Let's remember the question. Which of these is the heaviest land animal on Earth? A, the elephant. B, the rhinoceros. C, the giraffe. D, the hippopotamus. And the answer is the elephant. You're so smart. The African elephant can weigh up to 6 tons. 6,000 kilos. Did you know they can measure up to 23 feet long? They're huge. That's why they're the heaviest land animals on planet Earth. Bum, bum, bum. Do you want to know something very, very interesting about elephants? Mrs. Starr told us about a scientific study that showed that elephants can recognize themselves in the mirror, just like we can. Wait a second. Are there mirrors in the jungle? I guess they see themselves reflected in the water. They're such amazing creatures. And we're amazing too. We need to recognize our virtues and also our most common mistakes. When we recognize our mistakes, it's easier to correct them and forgive ourselves. It's easier than you think. I'm sure Curious knows a lot about forgiveness. Curious, how can we forgive ourselves? Many times we make mistakes that seem so big that we have trouble forgiving ourselves. I'm going to tell you another story. I love science class. Once we did an experiment in class with Mrs. Starr, and my experiment didn't work very well. The truth is that I made a few mistakes while I was doing it because I wasn't paying attention. I couldn't believe it. I was so upset at myself. I was mad and sad. It was hard to accept that I didn't do my experiment correctly, but with Miss Starr's help, I was able to calm down, repeat every step, and this time everything went well. Woohoo! Not everything is bad when we make a mistake. We can all learn from the mistakes we make. Isn't that great? Thanks to my mistake, I was able to do the experiment again, and it came out even better than ever. I definitely forgave myself. When you feel bad about something you did wrong, try to think about what you can learn from it, and then not only will you have learned from your mistake, but you'll also be able to show your best smile. Let's try a different planet exercise. To get ready for your best smile, make sure everyone can see your teeth from miles away. Ready? Smile! When you make a mistake, forgive yourself and smile. When you forget your friend's birthday, ask for forgiveness and smile. When you lose something you like, be more careful next time and smile. Just remember, every time you feel guilty about something you did wrong, forgive yourself from the heart. Keep in mind that mistakes can help you learn something new. And never, ever, ever stop smiling. Like adults say all the time, we have to smile in the face of adversity, which means no matter how bad things are, just keep smiling. Even adults make mistakes. One day my mom had to clean the kitchen for hours after making a huge mess while cooking. She was mad at the beginning, but then I noticed that my mom was calm again. I understood that after seeing the kitchen clean, she forgave herself for the mess she made and ended up pretty happy after seeing her kitchen squeaky clean. So don't worry if you make a mistake. How can we learn from our mistakes? I know. Let's ask our friend Curious for help. Curious! How can we learn from our mistakes? My mom once told me, if we pay attention, we can use our mistakes to become better and stronger. I didn't fully understand what that phrase meant until my dad told me that to learn from our mistakes, we must look at them like a rainy storm. Oh, It looks like it started to rain. When we make a mistake, we feel like rain is pouring over us, which makes us feel very sad. We forget that rain also brings good things. Many people don't like rainy days because they forget rain is temporary. It doesn't last forever. When the storm is over, the sun always comes out. Flowers look more alive, the plants are greener, and a rainbow appears in the sky. The same thing happens when we make a mistake. At the beginning, we feel upset, but once we forgive ourselves and learn from our mistake, everything looks clear, even better than before. One day at school, I had an argument with my friend Galaxy because she took the ball I was playing with in recess. I was so mad. I told her some mean things. I felt bad. I talked with my parents about it on our way home, and they gave me advice of what I could do to fix the problem. They told me that I shouldn't have said that kind of thing to her, and the right thing to do is to apologize to her. So the next day, I talked to her and apologized for all the things I said. She apologized to me too. Then we gave us a big hug. That's why I always ask my parents for help. They help me see the mistakes I make clearly and the way I should solve them. Yeah, sometimes they're very busy, but they always have time for me. Before we end today's mission, we have to make a quick stop for our interplanet trivia. And we're going to need some help. Why don't we call my Aunt Orbit? Yay, Aunt Orbit! I'm glad you're here. Today, we learned a lot about forgiveness and what it means to apologize to someone. We learned that forgiveness is a way of showing love and understanding to others when they've done something wrong or mean to us. Remember, forgiveness works both ways. If someone hurts our feelings and later realizes their mistake, they'll ask you for forgiveness. If we do something that affects another person in a negative way, we must make sure to seek their forgiveness by apologizing. Now that we've reviewed, let's test what we've learned today. Can you figure out in which of these examples Aunt Orbit is not showing or seeking forgiveness? Is it this one? Aunt Orbit said she forgave Neutron for spilling orange juice on her shirt, but she still seems a little upset about it. Maybe it's this one. Someone on the train hit Aunt Orbit with their book bag. They instantly turned around to apologize. Aunt Orbit smiled and told them it was okay. Or is it this one? Aunt Orbit got into an argument with someone at work. She later realized that she had been mean. So the next day, she apologized for her behavior. Think you got it? Here, Aunt Orbit still looked upset after forgiving Neutron. This shows that she didn't really mean it. Here, she got hit pretty hard. But she saw how quick the person was to ask for forgiveness. So she happily forgave them instead of being mad. And here, Aunt Orbit realized her argument with her coworker had gotten pretty serious. She understood that she needed to apologize for the way she had acted. It has to be the first example. Aunt Orbit was still upset with Neutron for spilling juice on her and was not showing forgiveness. Remember, if we forgive people for their mistakes and they forgive us for ours, it will help everyone involved let go of those negative emotions and get back to being happy with each other. Great job, guys! Today has been an incredible day. Now, it's time to say goodbye, but don't be sad. Soon we'll be in another outer space mission, and we will have new and fun adventures in the best place in outer space. Kids Planet!